this backdrop. And as you can see, my video is not being captured because Skype and NDI and OBS are not talking to each other. For me, they're talking to each other for Dwayne and Dahl, but that means it's time for me to read out the following. You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall. And it's me,
How are you?
the hot dog seller from Train Heroes. He's joined you this week to replace Brian. We are covering an anime that aired the episode. No, on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 27th of March to the 2nd of April 2022. And I'm going to go back and copy in the episode titles, which for some reason had not saved when I copied them in here earlier.
Oh, sorry, I had them here and everything.
We've got, to begin with, we've got Thermae, Romae, Novae. All Baths Lead to Rome, the first episode of the new adaptation, which you can find all the episodes right now on Netflix. And it's the perfect anime for you if you like the colour beige.
Now, we know Mary Yamazaki. We were, of course, exuberant in our praise of Extra Olympia Kite Class. So this is like, oh, right, well, maybe we get some more of the idiocy. It's not claymation this time, but, hey, it's same stuff. It's going to be pretty good, right? Yeah, so that beige thing, that's one for me. But it's okay. That's the way things look back in ancient Rome. How are we supposed to know? You weren't there. Constant cloud of shit that's in the air all the time. And then that's when they got to go to the bath so often. They want to get in and out of that. But then you got like a cloud have a filter of like steam in every bathhouse scene then, so it's still
There's
muddy.
a thing with the style of it where they have like this kind of scratchiness to it, like especially on the cheeks. I noticed, and I thought this was a thing to show that they're dirty from a hard day's work and all this kind of thing. So obviously they're going to go to the bath and wash off. And I was like, oh, this is just the style. They're just going to have that constantly. But then when you see her artwork at the end of it, I was like, I see what they're trying to do with that in the animation, but it doesn't quite work. Do you know what I mean?
No, in general, also, the first episode is the origin story of a man who would design baths. What makes a man design a bath? No, we didn't.
Because his dad and his granddad designed baths. I mean, like we're all caught up.
It's family business.
He likes baths,
but it's also a place of refuge because he was a pretty wimpy kid. He's getting bullied or fucking throwing his granddad's lunch into the river. It's like his fun. That's some older gentleman, I suppose, a friend of the family is giving him an ear for giving him a hard time. But the bat can go in to relax. So everyone is equal. We're all here to fucking get our shit.
You know, when we're invading countries, the first thing we build bats because we fucking love them. That's how you get society running, man.
Also, I don't think this episode had any laughs in it at all.
No. It's all the melodramatic backstory because you see, like, oh no, like his father was a great bath architect, but unfortunately he fell off a scaffolding in a rainstorm. No. So granddad's kind of teaching him, showing him, raising him, and he's going to be kind to his grandson because he was so hard on his son and driving him to be like an architect like him. So
you do get a little bit of colour and a little bit of fun right at the end when it becomes a live action documentary hosted by the author as she goes around Japan looking at baths.
I love the thing of this, like, well, I'm doing this obviously to promote the new show, and I'm already done doing the comic, but seeing these weird kinds of bats makes me go like, fuck, I could get some more material out of this shit. I could keep writing. Which is good, yeah.
Shin Thermae Romae. Yeah, but that's kind of just interesting as well. I still can't remind him. As I kind of like him and just like, oh yeah, just like apropos of nothing, we'll just like just muddle it all up like a bit like what Garan Dino did or what Ikoda-chan did. Like she is kind of like the real world intrude upon this, and what it is as well, like it's going to great lengths because she's a real nerd for this stuff. Both prior to getting to the bat, she was like the a scene in the gladiatorial combat coliseum and the chariot racing and ever having a feast and like, oh, remember the vomitorium? Yep, yeah, they got sick to make room for more food. That's not actually true. The vomitorium was just like, a big door.
Just an alleyway.
But whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same as it is in
But
our
hey,
world,
man,
yes.
you print the legend, all right. That's how she's a successful author. You can just swan around bathhouses on the company dime.
Okay. I did watch some more of this, and I don't think I need to cover it on a podcast.
I was going to say, should we watch another one and see if it improves? Because
I-
that first one, it was relaxing, but
Yeah.
like in a way
mean,
that it was boring.
I've watched something which aired already this week, and that easily slots into anything I don't want to watch from this lot, and that is Birdie Wing, but that's for next week.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. But if one actually gets down to the whole
Time travel,
the premise of the thing, where he falls, we only get like the fun little hint of that. Apparently, he's possessed this ability since he was a young boy.
If he dunks himself in a bath, he
it's
can come
really
out in a Japanese bath. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Doesn't need to get struck by lightning or nothing like that. Isn't like the fickle finger of the gods striking.
But then we're
for the
missing
striking
live
man.
action Zeus.
Is
So,
it-
it's already.
Is this we may have been somewhat spoiled by that if that was like kind of the primary encounter with this kind of material, was that was like taken to different lengths, and it was also like this as well these like full TV half-hour ones for 20 odd minutes, whereas Kai Class was
Yeah.
like
Just
11 or 12
like
overall.
a tight 10 or so minutes, and like it was different things. It's like he discovers advertising, that kind of thing. It's just like, okay, so this is just going to be bathhouses. Is there enough
But,
material to cover just that?
Also, imposter syndrome, as it gets into later on, where he's like, am I really a good bathhouse designer when I'm stealing all these ideas from the future? It's a little bit. As I understand, the actual Olympia Kai Class isn't much like what the anime was. That's why it was extra Olympia Kai Class.
No, not at all. No, just if you got like the catalog from the manga exhibition they had in the British Museum a couple of years back, there was like a good section in there because you see some of the big Kai Class comic. It looks much more like what you see in Thermae, Romae.
This also did remind me of going to a school trip to Hadrian's Wall as well, particularly once Hadrian shows up and is in
Yeah.
the time in the rest of the series.
Too.
But that's her back, man. Like, again, in the same catalog, it details how she is tagging along in archaeological digs and really getting in on it all the
Like
way.
if she could make a career out of where she goes on holiday, that's fucking fantastic. What a job.
But yeah, this is, and the other thing is, it's the African salaryman one, and guys doing it, and
Yes.
I think it's more consistent because I think I watched 5 episodes of this, but it's also doesn't reach the heights of that first episode of African Salaryman at all.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's be more fun things to watch, but we got a fun thing which is we're waving goodbye to, and that is Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout, episode 12. A guy who reincarnated as a fantasy knockout and nothing. There's nothing else.
I assume and is ... sequel question mark?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Or I think it might be asking what is Jinjuji, because that is the question he has to ask himself this episode. Schwartz is the one who gets to be the responsible adult in the situation for a change.
Bizarre. Well, I love that. It was a funny bit. Jinjuji's having this internal monologue. It was like, oh my god, what am I? That kind of thing. Schwartz is just grunting and groaning and shouting in the background, deflecting attacks from the giant robot.
Because, yes, Jinjuji has never praised anybody in his 32 years on Earth. Because I don't know if his mother or grandmother, somebody who raised him has taught
A paternal figure, yeah.
to be, you got to be a tough Japanese man. You can't show any weakness. You've got to get out there and make a name for yourself. You can't rely on friends. And so that's how he's lived his life for all these years. And now, in order to save everybody's lives, he's got to praise somebody.
I get that, because that's in a lot of like cultures of you don't praise someone for doing their fucking job, doing what's expected of them. You just give out to them when they don't fucking do it. I remember the weirdness. Like I still got looks when I went to like England or something like that, and you'd thank the bus driver. It's just like it's just polite. Hey, thanks, man. And they give you a look. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you thanking me?
Freak.
Yeah, so that's where he is, and Schwartz has to break it down for him that you're jealous. You got to acknowledge that you're jealous that the princess stole away your best mate, and he's like, guys can't be jealous.
No. Like if I had a guy friend and he started hanging out with his girlfriend more than me, I'd be jealous about that because we used to hang out all the time. So it's totally heterosexual. Yeah, you can do it. Come on.
But he does then immediately refer to it as it's not romance, but it's something along those lines of their relationship.
Yeah,
it might just be relationship, and that's
he might have said relationship and not friendship or something like that. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah. And so, yeah, does he slap him eventually to bring him to his senses, and then he goes and does it also because the machine has gone berserk and is that's after he stops them, and then it goes that and it's then it's on Tachibana who has the flashbacks and corrects the altered memory that the head maid had been doing to her, and it's like, oh no, the word which was getting beeped out was hero, because we learn through the flashbacks
that's what he wrote in his
that's what Jinjuji wanted to be when he grew up, was a hero. So then you got the irony that he's not the one who's the hero in this fantasy world, or is he? As we get,
but he's still Tachibana's hero.
Yes, yeah. And once that happens, then the machine goes berserk and decides, for some reason, the goddess of love has fitted this giant robot with, once it starts losing power, it will just wipe out every single living being that it can find.
Well, obviously it lost the battle, so that means it's surrounded by the enemy. So why not just explode in a huge radius, basically, is the logic of the goddess of love.
Yes. There's lots of questions about this goddess of love in this episode. I suspect the problem is she's drunk all the time.
That probably doesn't help, yeah.
Then Jinjuji breaks into the robot to rescue Tachibana, and then finds Tachibana's crying, and then he realizes, oh my goodness, I've not steeled myself to resist Tachibana's appeal now. He's he's come.
I forgot how hot he is.
Yes.
Oh damn!
How cute those crying eyes are, and then goes into this incredibly long list of everything Jinjuji admires Tachibana for, and it's fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's so good. And it kind of culminating on like just the shots between them. It was like, I like you for this reason, I like you for that reason, you're good for this reason, you're good for that reason. And it kind of like goes into like a black background, like colorful, kind of like sparkly thing of them running together like best friends would.
Tachibana's face is like, you can stop now.
please stop praising
the other fun thing is there's some of the ones he repeats, which makes it feel more realistic.
Yeah, it's like someone go through a list on their head and you repeat some of the things you already brought up, because it's like, did I say that already? I'll say it again. Yeah.
But yeah, they're also it's like, okay, some of these are great things for a buddy, and some of these feel like things you'd say to a romantic partner. Particularly some of the repeated ones. It's like, you're really good with children. Particularly, and then that leads into the fantasies they both have at the end of them getting married and having children and growing old together. So they escape that, and then the thing says, I've got this other thing I'm going to now blow up. That's all sorted. They're pals again. The demons have been defeated. There's a great bit where after the break, when Tachibana and the king are both apologising to each other because they blamed themselves for what's happened.
And the princess is taking no...
Yes, then they're like, it's really the princess's fault. And then Jinjuji goes into this long list of all the people you could blame for this situation. And so therefore there's no reason why we should be pointing the finger. And my favourite one is the head of the intelligence department He's like, she could have rescued everybody, and then for the rest of the episode, she's just having this crisis of conscience about being pinpointed.
Yeah.
Of
If I hadn't been immediately captured, I could have done my fucking job. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then they learn where they've got to take out the demon lord as quickly as possible because look at all
But
this
where is the demon lord? How will we ever find this demon lord? And George is like, there. It's the big obvious thing on the skyline. Look at it. That giant crucifix sword. That one.
Yeah,
That's where he lives.
Why didn't you tell us? And he was like, well, I assumed your goddess would have told you, and therefore I didn't. I assumed that you would know already.
I think the goddess of night like gives him the main points so she can quickly get back to sleep.
Yes.
And therefore is more efficient than the drunk goddess of love.
Yeah. And so our two lots of we got Lucius and Schwartz and Jinjuji and Tachibana are going to go off in separate directions, but then they'll meet back up at the Demon Lord's castle. And the demon, this giant castle is located on the belly button of the world, because the world, as we previously mentioned, looks like a woman. The various continents do. And so yeah, they head off, and then when do they? Oh, it's when they're it's when they're having to sleep back in their bedrooms, isn't it? And then it does the flip of all the time it's been Jinjuji going, I can't look at Tachibana. Tachibana's too attractive. I'll start having terrible thoughts I don't want. And then
so he's just there changing his shirt like a dude can do in front of another dude. Nothing wrong with that. Tachibana's like, holy shit, he's fucking shredded. I cannot fucking...
Yeah.
Oof. He doesn't have a curse thing on him, but Tachibana has the charm thing over her head.
Yeah. And then she's horrified and starts bashing her head against a brick wall in order to try and get the charm removed. And then I think the final thing is the fantasies and them turning their backs on each other.
It's them strengthening their resolve to not go gay. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen. It's too late, lads.
Yes. Yeah, and leaves us off for a potential second series. I assume there's more of the comic. I assume they may run into, as they've written Schwartz and Lucius off for a bit, there's the possibility of them running into other heroes, because they mentioned that there's loads of goddesses, didn't they? Early on.
Yeah. Other heroes of other goddesses, that kind of thing.
I assume the elf will show up again.
Yeah, she kind of shows up in we'll check in on the rest of our cast, and she's just there chewing meat, tough guyly, I guess.
But yeah, all in all, a really good series, and it's an isekai. I was surprised to enjoy it as much, but I guess the quantifiers on that is it's a manga isekai as opposed to a light novel isekai, and
it's poking
helps.
fun at the genre conventions.
Yes.
Like, if we're in a video game, can we say our stat sheets? It's like, yeah, sure, here they are, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're and it's the two characters in their 30s who don't seem to be too interested in the tropes of the genre they've been trapped in. And then it's fun to have Schwartz, who's the guy who knows all about the genre that he's trapped in.
He's up for this. He's been waiting for this. Yeah.
Training every day.
Yeah, highly enjoyable, highly recommended. I think it's generally quality from top to bottom. Then we got Ninjala episode 12. I always don't catch the episode titles of these.
Hide and seek with the
unknown.
Yes,
that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so they go to play hide and seek, and they're weird ghost aliens wearing hats,
eating all the chewing gum.
I don't know what you're talking about. Does annoying look like mushrooms? It's just a mushroom, people.
And then my favorite.
When they extend and wobble, no, it's just a mushroom.
My favourite bit of this entire episode, though, is the male trainer revealing his origin to be Linus from Peanuts.
Yes. Anything with those guys is good. We did get like a few episodes ago that your one grows a secret pumpkin patch on the ninja training school.
And also the other instructor, her sheer disinterest in this story is telling.
I think her thing is she doesn't want to be there in all of the classroom scenes. Like, she basically, I trained to be a ninja to kill motherfuckers. Why am I training fucking kids? This is bullshit. Everything of this is beneath me, kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, I like it came off initially that she was a bit like kind of the bumbling sort of not altogether like teachers fucking like teacher's aide
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that. Or that's just like fun saying, no, I didn't sign up to be a teacher. Like as you said, this is serious.
Yeah, that was definitely like some of the funnier bits, and them just chilling that amused me greatly. The stuff with the kids, I was just like I don't know what the fuck is going on with these weird slime
I
things.
have
It's like
no idea.
they look like Gumuchi. I was like, do they? I mean, like they're weird little monsters, but other than that, I see no resemblance.
They'll beat the shit out of you and fucking and steal your sweets.
Yeah,
as
they're
well.
all wearing hard hats, like one of those guys in Mega Man. You know, the little bit.
The Mets.
Yeah. But they headbutt you.
Not to be confused with the NFL. Or if it's a baseball team. But yeah, we have fun. They're fun laid out there. They got arms and slings, and their heads are bandaged up to be. These are the teams are knocking the shit out of them, just mugging them for their sweets. Well, this is where Burton and Jane they start hitting it off because they're trapped, like in a room surrounded by these things. And we gotta figure a way out. Fun and saying yes, we got to
Identify the problem.
analyze situation logically. We got to formulate a plan and then put that plan into action. Fun and saying. And then Burton's going, oh, you used to be an engineer as well, huh? This could be the start of a beautiful friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And so they MacGyvered their way. Well, MacGyvered their way, you just cast someone with make whatever you want out of the gum. And
They demonstrate one of the weapons from the game,
gadget you
which
need.
they then talk about at the
Yes.
end of the thing and explain how it works.
It's fucking hacks. It just shoots through walls.
Dear.
There's supposed to be a rare drop on that, but like, somehow he keeps getting it. That I don't understand. Pay to win fucking strategies right there. That's what I tell you.
And then at the end, there's like three-eyed frogs wearing baseball caps.
Some other weird kind of monster guy.
Yep, it's alien invasion. Oh.
Well, I guess it gives it some sort of impetus because I guess I didn't really know what the peril was going to be of this series otherwise.
I mean, I was fine with the peril being like ninjas are trying to kill what appears to be small children who are also ninjas.
Yes.
But yeah, okay.
Another alien sighting in America's heartland. As ninjas, you gotta go out and investigate it. I'm not sure we're supposed to assassinate this political figures at the UN conference in 24 hours. I don't think that's the kind of thing ninjas do. Cape, now do they?
Yeah, so that's Ninjala for this week. And then we've got your boy Romae. Episode 1, Romae descends upon Shibuya. Our second time travelling from ancient times to modern day.
Yeah.
Does that count as isekai if you go from ancient times to modern day, or is that like a reborn thing?
It falls under that umbrella.
I would have thought,
It's like,
yeah.
It's like the handle of the umbrella or one of the spokes. I don't know. But it's entirely something that hasn't been done before. Right, just to give one example, they know Oda Nobunaga. He's been cast forward to the modern day a number of times.
That's true.
But it's sort of like fallen by the wayside because everyone, what's big right now? No, it's going to the video game world. That's what's interesting.
Yeah.
Now. But so then, like having it go in reverse, let's say, where someone was brought into the real modern world, it comes off as novel because it's been that long.
So this particularly definitely, even if you're going to argue that this sort of thing is an isekai, this is more isekai because it is him being reincarnated in the future, because he has died from his point of view, which is the fun thing at the start. The episode where he thinks he's descended to hell because he's surrounded by monsters because he's arrived in Shibuya
Halloween
on Halloween.
basically,
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just two fun drunk lads fun saying, "Hey, it's dressed up as fucking Romae. It's fucking badass. Here, man, have a swig of this. It'll get you walked off."
Your demon water burns me, and it's like, yeah, that's straight to kill,
I
man.
will submit to this torture. This is my. I pay my penance for my deeds in life gladly. Come on, man, we're going to the club. What more bizarre torture have you in store for me? The shrieking of the damned into the strike phone down the club. It shakes my bones to their very core.
And he's only happy when a singer comes on stage and he's like, oh, singing. I know what singing is. Okay, that's cool.
An angel even in the midst of this tableau of horror.
She's dressed as a demon, though. I think, does he call her like a demon songstress later on?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. He just gets fucked up and then passes out in the alley. And this girl, the songwriter, who's like, the singer, part-time waiter, also and bartender at the same club, thinks, shouldn't need this dude fucking passed out in the street. I'll take him
Also,
back.
it was pointed out, like, when she went behind the bar after her set, she's like, yeah, no one was really listening to, but he came up and complimented her music, and the other bartender is like, yeah, one guy was a fan of your work, so, at least you got that. And she's kind of like, he's the one guy who complimented my singing. He's sleeping on the street while very drunk. I should probably drag him back to the apartment so he can fucking recover, I guess, yeah.
And he does, but he still insists that he is Kobe from Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And did they get into the...
I think just ask the question, Dan. What a question that only he would know. But if an easy kind of Googleable fact was saying, yes, well, like when on that battle, I used this strategy. So saying, it is fucking him. Oh shit.
He discovers all kinds of things, like points to things in the room like a caveman might, and freaks out. I like the fact he starts off freaking out about the smartphone, but then he's like it kind of cuts to the evening, and it's like, so explain the blockchain again to me. It's just like fucking. You're learning too quickly. Okay, just slow down.
He's proficient in so many disciplines. Yeah, I mean, like later on, like he gets a job at the club. I know he's getting trained first aid mixing drinks, and he's just fucking handling orders. He's whipping up stuff and doing a flare tending. He's all right. He gets a better grilling off the manager of the club.
Because the manager's a
who
fan.
Just happens to be a fucking Romance of the Three Kingdoms nerd, and he goes all deep. So you sent your apprentice to defend that mountain pass, even though you knew he would be experienced that led to his defeat. Why did you do that? It's like yes, it's like, I thought that I believed him too much. Maybe I just, my emotion got the better of me, but I just really believed in the kid. However, his efforts allowed us to stall him, and we were able to regroup, and we won the day eventually. And saying, I see.
It wasn't the smart choice. It was an emotional reaction, and I feel really bad for it. Your man's tearing up because he's a big fucking fan. I like the way the manager starts off as like, he's some kind of like he's a tough guy looking thing. It's like, no, he's just a fucking nerd. Like when he meets the other bartender, he's like, hey, where's your eye patch? You look really fucking cool. It's like, dude, I was dressed up for Halloween. And later on, where he mentions his friend from back in the day, he's like rushes up. Were you guys talking about Romance of the Three Kingdoms? Just really wants to be involved in all of it. It's very fun.
Yeah, and then or rather, Kobe learns from him about how he saved Aiko, that's the singer's life, when she was seemed to be trying to commit suicide at a train station. And so generally you got this feeling of, even though she doesn't feel like she can be a success as a singer, you've got all these old men rooting for her.
Yeah, it's tough being a kid these days, but the kind of like a lot of support network that she has around her, which is nice. And they do a pretty good job with the singing and stuff. I was really impressed with the guitar stuff, because obviously that was like a CG thing with the finger work and everything. Yeah,
nice, very very good animated fingering right there. Yep. I really kind of going for it. I guess because they had to have like a 99 Neko, like a professional, singing sensation, actually here to do all the singing voicing. So I guess got to make her look cool in this, so we're going to give her a little extra something. This is enough to impress Romae, because it's like I've turned my hand to conquering many battlefields, but together I will be your tactician to aid you in your rise to the top. We'll conquer the Tokyo nightlife.
He makes the argument. It's like, because she thinks she can't reach anybody, so what's the point in going to auditions? But he makes the point.
He's like, I've heard you sing 3 times, and each time you've touched me. Like that was really good singing. I think other people need to hear this. Yeah,
it's really good, and it is much less horny than the first chapter of the comic is, which you can read for free. I had to go back. I was like, I'm sure I remember that shower scene being far hornier when I read the first chapter, and I went back and said, yes, it is. There's a angle which they do not reproduce in the anime, and I think that helps because otherwise it feels like the balance is there between Komei and Aiko in the anime of like they are both on equal footing as the main characters. Whereas having that sort of lascivious paddling of her.
We're not supposed to empathize with her. We're supposed to ogle her, basically.
Ogle her and like feel sympathy for her, but not necessarily feel like she's a character. As you say, you're empathizing with or identifying with. Whereas this keeps that balance much better.
Yeah, I think we're kind of like fans of this character type on the show, whether it is the man himself or inspired by. Because obviously you think of Shu from Back Arrow. It's just like yeah. What would that dude be like as a nightclub manager? Let's find out. Fucking needle drop as well on the outro. That's a song like I haven't heard in years. It's not. It's a good cover of it. It was one of the levels in Osatake 0 and then 2, the cheerleading game on the DS. We got tapping things along with the very intense, very threatening cheerleading squad. Yeah, but naturally, I play that level a lot. Kind of get all the stars in it. So I was quite familiar with it. It was good to hear that after so many years.
You just reminded me that I own that game. I'd completely forgotten I bought it at some point. This was my highlight so far of the new shows.
Oh yeah, this was great. Really, really strong opening. Unlike 2 of the other things that we watched this week.
I might disagree with that. The Executioner and Her Way of Life, episode 1. The Executioner. Niall, take it away, because my cynicism may come out too much in the description of it.
It's alright. Well, stop me if you've heard this one before. It's like an average Japanese high school boy is reincarnated in a fantasy world. It's just like, wow, this is so cool. Oh no, but I'm just a nobody here. But I'm sure I've got a hidden power. Let me rise to the top. Some of this like passing.
I did appreciate the difference, like where he's summoned and the king and a wizard or something else is there, and they're all like, it's like, how about this one? Like, let me scan him with the crystal ball. Nope, nothing. And they just throw him out the fucking castle gate on his ass. I was just like, okay, that's kind of funny. That's a little different. Yeah. While he's crying under a bridge, a passing priest sees him, and she's like, hey, I'm actually of a priesthood who minds people who've been sent from the other world. They've been doing it for ages. We're sick of it, honestly.
Yeah, look, see, if you look just on the streets, like it all, like, our own language, it's not some kind of fantasy thing. I am speaking Japanese to you. This isn't like, some kind of convenient universal translator kind of job. It's just like, people come here for so long that you've changed our society.
This is like, oh wait, I can use what I know to influence society. Have you guys mayonnaise? It's like, yeah, we have mayonnaise. Fuck's sake, like you guys have been coming here for ages.
Man, I thought I was going to be a real innovator. Anyways. Well, I'm sure you might have a power. Here, let's go up to this church, and we were like, do tests up now and see if you can do it. And it's just like, and this was like, oh, but the wizard said I got a power of nothingness. But I'm saying, like erases like a fucking portion of a stone block, like Vanilla Ice from Johto. It's like, oh, the power of nothingness. It's like I can erase things forever. Isn't that cool, man? Now I have the real power. After what stabs in the head. Because she's put a knife and just stabbed him, and it goes right through his head, and he's lying on the floor in a pool of his blood. And it's not a pretty corpse. It's like the eyes are like halfway rolled back into his head. There's no like glory.
Also, there's a kill switch on him that like erases everything in a radius around him, so it like puts a big hole in the church's ceiling and everything. Not great.
The important thing though is that he mentions before he gets killed is that there was another person who'd been summoned as well.
Yeah.
So this is Meadow. She works for like the church, and as I said, everyone these kids have been coming along, and from another dimension, just Japan apparently, for years and years and years now. To the extent they're coming so long, as I said, they've like elements of Japanese society have come on in. Like it's down to like the language for sure.
I thought that was an interesting take, where it's not just
the fashions.
It's not just going to be a fantasy world, and if they're using like terms that we'd use on Earth, it makes more sense that they'd use them here because this has been happening, this fantasy world, for quite some time. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but you see, like in the mix, you got to use a kind of it's like a medieval fantasy mansion, but there's also like dudes going around wearing top hats. It's like looks like
some sort of magic factory downtown,
late Victorian era, or like 1910s or maybe something. So you think, how long has this been going on? But often they get some kind of strange magical powers like that's dangerous, and it could cause an absolute fucking catastrophe around them. So it's her job as one of the church to like hunt these things down and neutralize them before they can cause any great harm.
Executioner, besides charity priest for the charity church, it is also execution is part of her job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go into that. There was 4 great disasters
Yeah,
caused
the 4 great human errors or something.
Yes, the
Yeah, yeah.
Sword of Salt,
Mhm.
Pandemonium, the Mechanical Society, and the Star Husk. And that was the point I was like, oh, this is
Ooh.
very much an isekai like novel. It just sounds like somebody's role playing game campaign that they couldn't find anybody to play, and so they turned it into a novel instead.
I mean, like, if you can't get anyone to play it, then that's a really good option. Yeah.
But also, like, there's a lot of
Mhm.
discussion of like how things work early on, and this is
Yeah.
called this, and that's called that.
I kind of prefer to see that through action rather than someone sitting you down and is like, "You're new to this world. Let me explain to you a few
it's like-
things." And I was like, "I know that's literally
Yeah.
the situation, but yeah."
I was like, oh, this probably worked much better in prose than it does us having a conversation on a riverbank or whatever they're doing in this one.
Yeah. You get a little bit of Mellow's backstory as well. Where it was like one of these kids teleporting there and just like turned everyone in her town into salt. This
She's
is
the
all
only
into
survivor
that.
of the entire thing.
that's-
Yeah.
That's where she first met her master Flair, who was like executioner like this, and seems to be like a bit crazy eyes. It's basically she's really into this, like she's here for like the purpose of trying to preserve the order of the world, but kind of the fun saying, yeah, I love sticking the knife in and seeing the light go out of her eyes. That kind of intensity.
Yeah, because again, the episode, it's and I could see it was like, okay, I know this is going to set me up for the fall because it was just like everything's nice, everything's bright and cheerful, and it's just like murdering Japanese kids. I was like, oh, it turns dark all of a sudden, but obviously her master seems to be really into that end of it. So yeah,
she's got a little sidekick too. Momo is just like, ooh, she's like the kind of the cute little lesbian.
I can't remember what she was called in El Hazard. It reminded me of like a worse version of her.
right, yeah,
yeah,
because she doesn't even believe in God that much. She just wants to like squeeze her and take candid pictures of her dressed as a maid and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I believe this is more a Yuri novel series than it is a murdering Japanese schoolboys series.
I thought they were going to be
titled Virgin Road.
Mm-hmm.
Make it that what you will.
Because, yes, Meadow keeps on having fantasies of being at
going to Japan school.
Yes, surrounded by all the children she's murdered.
Yes.
And she's slowly making her way through the fucking class, it seems. Yeah.
And there's a silhouette of this particular girl who we, the viewer, know matches the silhouette of the other person they teleported in earlier in the episode.
That was her best friend.
Yes.
And then the other girl when we cut there, like she's talking about, or she's thinking, is like, I had a dream I went to like a fantasy world and my best friend was there. It's weird, man.
It's just going to be like, well, no, this is the one that I can't kill. I have to, because she's a threat to all of the world, but I just can't do it.
Because that's the one that the king held on to. So I'm guessing her power is actually really dangerous or really good or something like that.
And then I remembered that the demon girl next door is back this week, and that's probably a more fun version of arch enemies falling in love than this is.
Well, I appreciated this as a response to a phenomenon that's gotten a bit out of hand.
Yeah, I was, because I saw some people on the Anime News Network forum were upset that it was going to be about just killing isekai heroes, and I assume they're big isekai fans, and that offended them in some way. People were like saying, no, it's not like that at all. That only happens in the first episode. And I was like, well, that's my interest killed.
See, there was something about it that seemed to be not saying that, but as a premise, that's really interesting because that could be like a comment on like colonialism or something like that, or it could be just the idea of it's like, okay, so we know this genre convention, right? How much would that fuck up a world if people with superpowers kept fucking dropping in? That would screw it up, right? It would.
It would be interesting. I just don't know if it's like I don't want to read this as a novel.
It may not be like the rather it be in a proper book or like maybe like a more considered thing, like like a TV series with a director who be a bit skilled at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, appreciate it. Like, it does puncture a lot of I'm a nobody in the real world, but I go to this fantasy world and I'm somebody. Fun saying, yeah, power nothing. So you're the worst, but secretly you're the best. yada yada. But saying, yeah, maybe I'm special here after all. It's like, no, you're not. You've come here for years. You're people, and you're like a menace to the entire world. It's just
like even the last things he says before he gets stabbed in the head is like, oh wow, with this power, like no one can really stand in my way. Like I can just erase anything I fucking want. This is fantastic, Mello. We can do whatever we want with this power. Like he's willing to share this, but it's just like you're a gun. I need to get rid of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I'd say until Momo shows up, and then Momo feels like she's from an entirely different show.
And not only does she feel like she's from a different show, but like the tone was kind of like happy, 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 and then like ooh, dark and edgy, and then it's like I'm happy again. I'm here to bring up the funny. I'm a funny lesbian. I was just like, that's not you're toning all over the place. And then both of them have to kill a bunch of soldiers, and I was just like, where's the tone in this fucking episode?
I like too that she's fun. Just like there are someone in like fun flame swords. But she's using magic too. So like in a whole like castle wall.
She's reciting.
She's going at him with a knife.
It probably works better in prose. But like she's reciting passages from her Bible without even opening the Bible. It's like she knows it off like a priest or something. And then those passages like castle walls will save the meek and something like that, and then castle walls appear around her to deflect attacks or something. Yeah, that kind of thing.
A bit like visionaries. They have to can't say a poem and do the magic. Yeah.
Again, there's a lot of nice visuals, and it's a lot of the actual things she ends up doing is just slashing throats, like you say. It looks nice. It's just not quite there, I think.
I know. There's other things that are going to be joshing for position with it. That's anyway.
True.
So this is probably the one like it's like that's interesting. I might come back to it, but I won't come back to it. Not putting it away because of any like massive dislike. Just like there's other things coming this weekend actually that I kind of want to jump on a little sooner.
Yeah, I think me and Dwayne have just watched an Isekai show that we really liked, so it's also getting put up against that.
It's unfair, really. To I mean, like I might have enjoyed it a lot more had I not enjoyed that one so fucking much. So,
yeah.
Again, this one isn't like going for that doing the kind of the rote angle so much. It is trying to like come at it or consider it in a different way. A funny way is often a way, but maybe something a bit more like in depth, actually kind of getting down to fun. Yeah, what kind of mechanic now? What real effect would that have on society, especially if it kept happening?
Yeah,
that's an interesting question.
I'm not sure it's going to. From what I know I'm not sure whether it goes in that direction or not.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to set up, but like you said, it's probably not one they're interested in dealing with. Yeah,
at least no one's getting enslaved. Yes,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's an issue with this one. I think it's more a. Anyway, I won't say anything because it'd be a spoiler for anybody who's not watched the second episode yet.
Fair.
So that's it. Nothing else. That's all we got this week.
Fairly calm week.
That was it. Oh. Yeah. Next week, there's Birdie Wing, which I've already watched and is great, and it's
excellent.
A super pleasant surprise. Don't have to worry about Zero's Tea Time because that's not coming to worldwide Netflix till June or July. There is The Demon Girl Next Door 2, another high dive show.
Yeah, it's getting split like a lot more. I wouldn't say evenly, but there's a lot more going in the high dive direction because I guess because there is technically only one other big company that's doing this now. Then it's, even as big as it is, it can't seem to have.
So they might not feel they need to get as much because they're not in competition with Funimation or Crunchyroll anymore.
Yeah. And when anything that makes me like with my high dive more, I often feel that that's one that gets neglected. So like, I watch a lot of Lupin on there and then some other things, but it's just, I can watch the other translation of Pop Team Epic or anything. But it's like, I see some more things going that way, and then they'll get more attention that go that way as well, because more Ghost Strips might draw some more people to it, and then they might finally be able to do a proper like console app you can just turn on.
Yeah, your boy Kongming is being translated by the same guy who did the Pop Team Epic on High Dive. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Safe pair of hands.
And the Classicaloid 2 as well. Demon Girl Next Door. Yeah. Love After World Domination. Are you ready to watch some Kaguya-sama?
Oh yeah, I actually caught
Well,
up just
I'm not sure
today.
we dwell that, but we
'Cause
might leap in blind.
I'll hop into the first one anyway. Yeah.
I will. I'll try and kind of clarify anything you might need to know. It's usually very good because I went through the second series of it there since Zach came over from the other catalog, the other library as well. So it's generally pretty okay at doing for a very quick reference to if it was important.
If it's important to the
previous
current
series,
story they're doing, yeah.
or it's usually like, oh, remember that really embarrassing sketch from the last series? We're gonna do another another version of that. So it's gonna be even more embarrassing for everybody involved. There's a couple of things there where it gets occasionally like a very special episode of Kaguya-sama Lover's War where it's a little bit the jokes are always there, but it's getting fun. You're getting more endeared with the characters. It's quite fun. You laugh at them, but then you gotta cry with them a little bit. So you laugh at them more. Those usually come towards the end of the series, and the bulk of it is stupid fucking jokes.
Okay, so that's 3 new things on the dock next week.
I haven't finished yet. The
Spy
Family,
Family.
Tiger and Bunny 2 as well.
Oh, freak. Okay, yeah. I guess we had to have a bit of cam before the storm. Okay.
Talking of the probably great things that you might want to jump in is Kingdom Season 4, which I might be tempted to jump in on. It feels like
whatever Chinese history is that said
it
again.
feels like a giant gap in my knowledge of this massively popular comic.
It's the one I know because it's like from readings of it, from a perspective, outside Japan. One thing, what are the big trees? One say, no, it's probably going to be like One Piece. So wherever from popular team just got like the fun and said, no, but this doesn't get talked about so much is all Kingdom. It's fucking like
okay.
best-selling fucking manga. It's a fucking very fervently followed TV series. I made some films out of it as well. There's a fun big. It's hitting on over now, what kind of readership I suppose? I suppose anybody who's got fun act and then just something forward there and just kind of we can buy piles of it and read piles of it.
Yeah, so that might be tempting, but yeah, for sure for me, Spy Family, Tiger and Bunny, Demon Girl Next Door, Birdie Wing I've already watched. And then we've got Ninjala and your boy.
Dragon Quest is back on the 16th.
Oh yeah, also back is.
Kadama Kawashiri. Yeah.
That'll really strain. I had to drop that. I haven't got a spare minute. Everything else.
Why it disappeared for a month? I had no idea, but it's back.
I feel kind of bad because I've been kind of enjoying Ninjala, just the simplicity of it, but I feel like in a busier season it wouldn't have lasted as long.
That's true. Ninjala may end up getting the chop. To fit some other more high-powered stuff. Though there are fan subs for the sequel series of that Battle Cap anime.
Okay.
10-minute episodes though, so.
Like bottle caps.
There we go. So that's it for this week. Hopefully within the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I could figure out how to make me appear in one of these streams again. It is very odd, but we'll be back Tuesday, Niall, is that correct?
If possible, could we do it Monday? Not to put too much pressure on you.
Yeah, Monday's fine, I think. Yeah, Monday's fine.
Alright, I just have to get everything done by the weekend.
Okay, I'm seeing old anime films at the BFI a couple of days of Easter week.
That's true. I've got that's a good point as well. I don't think I've got any days booked off when we normally podcast, but there's an awful lot of holidays coming up, either bank or ones I've already booked myself. I've decided to have another Easter after Easter when I can travel without hitting all the Easter traffic. And also without hitting the Easter coronavirus as well.
Also, you could just eat chocolate. It doesn't need to be egg-shed.
That's true. They don't tend to green and blacks make Easter eggs.
Well, what you do there is that you just You buy a regular Easter egg, you can't eat chocolate inside, so you give it to a friend. And then you keep the plastic rolling. It's like, you get some chocolate, you melt it in the pot, and then you put it in. It takes a preparation, but you can make an Easter
get my
egg.
steel tempering board out and my palette scraper and temper the chocolate back so it doesn't bloom as I'm turning it into an egg. There you go. That's you can take the boy out of the confectionery kitchen, but you can't take the confectionery kitchen out of the boy. Right, that's the podcast. We're done. Bye for now.
Bye.
Let me find this.
Happy Easter.
To make this appear.